Hello to everyone. This is Viewpoint on noyantapantv, and I am Benyamin Poghosyan, Senior Research Fellow at Armenia. Today, we will discuss the current stage of Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations, and we'll try to understand what may happen next, at least what may happen or may not happen by the end of 2024. When we look at the Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations, very often we have a feeling that it's some sort of pendulum going right and wrong. Sometimes all are very hopeful that some sort of deal is imminent, and usually this happens by the end of some years. Just remember, end of 2022, lot of discussions. Armenia-Azerbaijan peace deal is very close by the end of 2022. Nothing happened, different reasons. Mostly Azerbaijani actions impose blockade on Nagorno-Karabakh. Then, after a military takeover of Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan in September 2023, again, 3 months by the end of the year and a lot of discussions that this time peace deal will be signed, because the key obstacle, Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, is not there. Of course, there were some experts, including me, who argued that this was not going to happen because Nagorno-Karabakh was not the only issue between Armenia and Azerbaijan, and because after taking Nagorno-Karabakh and weakening Armenia significantly, Azerbaijan will do everything to reach its century-old dream, to open the corridor and to have direct connection with Turkey. However, many people again were telling that, okay, deal is imminent by the end of 2023. Again, nothing happened. However, when in December 2023, Armenia and Azerbaijan signed a joint statement, and Azerbaijan agreed to bring to home more than 20 Armenian POWs, and Armenia agreed to support Azerbaijan's bid to host COP29 in Azerbaijan in November 2024. This time, discussions started even earlier than the end of the year. Starting from January 2024, everyone who follows Armenia-Azerbaijan negotiations probably heard more than 1,000 times that there is momentum. Momentum is COP29. Again, it's going to take place in Azerbaijan in November 2024. So, most probably something will be signed by November 2024. And we see how mostly Western actors, especially the United States, have significantly increased its efforts to have something signed between Armenia and Azerbaijan. It all started by meetings at the margins of Munich Security Conference. Then Armenia-Azerbaijan foreign ministers met in Berlin, late February 2024. Then suddenly we have a new facilitator, Kazakhstan, and meeting on May 10, 2024 in Almaty. Then United States, actions, visits, statements, peace is closer, it's possible. And at the end of the day, July 2024, meeting of foreign ministers in Washington. After all three meetings, meetings in Berlin, in Kazakhstan, and in Washington, there were some public statements, very vague, that some progress has been made, sides are closer to sign an agreement, but also that still are very tough issues which are not agreed upon, without any details. Simultaneously, the ping-pong diplomacy of sending back and forth the draft of the agreement continues, and now both Armenia and Azerbaijan sent 10 drafts to each other. Again, there are a lot of discussion that text is almost ready. Just very recently, President Aliyev stated that text is ready up to 90% or at least 80%, but still, a lot of discussion that something is going to be signed by November 2024. Even Americans now are telling that both sides need some tough compromises, both Armenia and Azerbaijan. However, reality is a little bit different. Reality is a fact that now Azerbaijan pushes forward two preconditions for signing any agreement, comprehensive framework or whatever. Precondition number 1, changes in Armenian constitution. Precondition number 2, Armenia should agree to jointly apply to the OSCE to finish the work of OSCE Minsk group. But let's be clear, Azerbaijani leadership understands that at least when we speak about constitutional changes in Armenia, this is not going to happen definitely by the end of 2024, I would say by the end of 2025, and this is clear. In May 2024, just 2 months ago, Prime Minister Pashinyan adopted a decision that the Special Commission on Constitutional Changes should elaborate the draft of the new constitution by the end of 2026. By the end of 2026. This is public decision, and Azerbaijani leadership, including President Aliyev, knows about this very well. So when President Aliyev tells that nothing is going to be signed before Armenia changes constitution, it means President Aliyev states that nothing is going to be signed by the end of 2026. Of course, some may say, but what's the problem? Like, the conflict continues for more than 30 years, 35 years, if we take into account the start point as 1988, decision of Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Region to join Soviet Armenia. It's already 36 years. So if something continues 36 years, why we cannot wait for another 2.5 years, then Armenia will change its constitution in late 2026 or early 2027, and then something may be signed. Of course, this logic has a right to exist, but also let's be clear that in this type of negotiations, momentums and the environment are important. So there was some momentum that something can be signed by November 2024, which may allow also Armenian participation in COP29. However, again, if Azerbaijan believes, argues and demands that nothing can be signed until Armenia changes its constitution and until Armenia agrees to cancel OSCE Minsk group, then it means that Azerbaijan simply is telling, guys, I'm not going to sign anything by the end of 2026 at least, or maybe early 2027. Okay, what does it mean in reality? In reality, it means that if Azerbaijan continues to adhere to that position, then at least for another 2.5 years, minimum 2.5 years, the situation of no peace, no war will continue in South Caucasus. There will be no significant advancement on the issues like border delimitation, demarcation, restoration of communications. So everything will remain the same. No peace, no war, which will open the room for escalation. Escalation by both sides. All understand that Azerbaijan still is much stronger than Armenia, so it will be strange to argue that Armenia may use this period to launch an escalation. This brings us to the conclusion that by clearly putting conditions which cannot be met until early 2027, President Aliyev probably wants to continue this no peace, no war situation and open the window, open the opportunity to launch some escalation against Armenia starting from 2025, or at least to keep Armenia in a tense situation, like every morning, every day, starting early 2025 until when this agreement is going to be signed. If it's going to be signed, everyone in the region will wake up and look into the news to see if there is a new escalation or not. So this is a reality through which most probably the region will live for the next few years at least. This is all for today, and we will meet soon.